Recently, everything has gotten so much worse. Truthfully, we can all look around. We've all noticed this and seen this, right? I've talked about this like a million times already on this channel, but it's just getting worse and worse every day. I pay attention to all this stuff. I've been talking to a lot of people over the last few weeks, right? It's like the craziest thing too when you start talking to certain people. They have these weird like world views and such like that, or they don't agree with you, which is totally fine. That's how it is. Life's different. We're not all supposed to agree on everything, but it's actually gotten insanely worse with people. I've never really noticed this back like when I even went to school. Maybe you guys did too, right? You'd have, you just went to school. You didn't have all this pronoun stuff going on. All these people that are in the younger generation, man. I'm actually just shocked by it. Like, there's so many people that agree with it. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, I didn't really think a lot of people do that. Like, people I work with and such like that. And, they're trying to shoehorn it in. I just don't have the time or, like the patience for that stuff. It shouldn't be like this. And it's actually insane how worse it's getting. All these workplaces are getting flooded with people who are just pretty much brain dead retards. And you got to deal with it now, which is absurd. And I don't even know how much longer I can actually deal with it, because I'm getting annoyed of it every time I'm at work now or something like that. I'm like, dude, how many people are going to, do this stuff? It's not many people I've met who've done this, but it's actually gotten insane. And, I do respect people, of course, but I don't respect that stuff. I don't have time for mental illnesses. You can't be bringing that stuff into work. And these workplaces allow it, and that's the problem. And these people are becoming teachers and stuff like that. They're educating our children, which is a huge problem. It actually makes me really worrisome. I'm like, man, like, I'm kind of strong-willed. I'm not going to get easily convinced. I'm not an asshole, I would say, to an extent. I mean, a lot of people do call me that, right? But, when I went to these colleges and I had problems with a lot of these professors, I didn't really care. I mean, I had many essays that are saying that, well, you're wrong because this, that, and the other thing. Your language is here, this, that, and the other. It's just like, okay, it's like, who gives a shit? But, I've just been thinking about it a lot recently. It's like, this world is insanely sick now. Like, everyone is insanely just mentally ill. You try to tell them something, they like curse you out, tell you you're wrong. You tell them anything that's going on in the world, you're the problem, you're wrong, you're an asshole, you're this, you're that. And I really never thought we were ever going to get this way before. I've never seen the culture become shell-shocked, I guess, in a sense of like, this really is a psychological warfare, everything that we're seeing around now. We're constantly being spied on by our own government, of course, which, I mean, we all kind of knew since the Patriot Act. It's just, it never seems to end. Like, when does this cycle ever end? You talk to most people today, they can't even be your friend. Like, nobody can even really be a friend these days. Everyone's fake, It's the generational divide I've seen. It's also like the men versus women war, which is going on right now, which shouldn't even be a thing, but it's like feminism came in and ruined all of us, truly. The last wave of feminism came in and just ruined everything. COVID pandemic ruined, like, they forced the LGBTQ shit down our throats so much. I remember being at Target, and they had the tuck pants in, or the tuck underwear, whatever the fuck it was called, and I was like, holy shit, I'm like, this is real. And I remember people were arguing at Target at the time. I'm like, oh my God, is there about to be a fight here? Like, I was there the one time. I didn't even think about it because my grandmother had to get certain tissues and stuff. And I'm like, this is actually insane. This is like 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago now. I'm like, how far are we going to keep going crazier and crazier in society? And I remember sitting there thinking at that Target, I'm like, this is literally just the Weimar Republic all over again. Like, I was thinking about, like, this is literally going to be like Germany from 1920s. Like, everyone's, getting poor. We have no money. The economy's going to shit. And people can't think for themselves, so you have like the rise of like the transgenderism and stuff like that, which happened with Magnus Hirschfeld, if you guys know. It's just, it seems like history really does repeat itself. It rhymes in a way. Like, it really does. History doesn't repeat, it rhymes. And this is literally just the copycat of 100 years ago. I mean, this has all been planned. This has truly been planned by the World Economic Forum and all that other stuff to get all these third worlders in. And, we have the depopulation stuff going on as well, which I've never really thought that was ever going to happen in this life, but it truly is. I mean, with the pesticides and everything on our food, lowering sperm counts and everything like that, nobody's having, kids and stuff like that anymore, which is a huge problem. And, I would say maybe 3 to 5% of women are the only ones that can't really handle them. I feel like 95 or 96% of women can handle kids. It's just the way everything happened. I've been thinking about that a lot recently, too. It's like feminism ruined women back in... Well, actually, the right to vote, even, I would even say, for women ruined everything. A lot of people aren't going to like that take, but let's look back for a second. It's really true. When women got the right, and a lot of women didn't want the right to vote, too. I was reading the book by Rachel Wilson. God, I forget what it was called now. I just was reading it like a week ago. And pretty much she was going on about this in the book with Margaret Sanger and stuff like that, which is very true. And a lot of people don't know about Margaret Sanger. I mean, I knew about her since like grade school because I was so obsessed with like, I always hated abortion. It's been like my main thing in life, which I truly hate with a passion. Same with drugs. And that's a different topic for a different day, but it's true. It like all ties into everything, right? How she was with H.G. Wells and shit. And, it's just eugenics never failed. It's still here. Eugenics is still here. Think about the whole McJuggernuggets thing, right? The dude literally, they murdered their 5-month-old baby because it had Down syndrome. It's like, that's literally murder. I mean, even if you didn't want the kid, there's many places you could have did, there's institutions, there's anything out there. People would love to have a Down syndrome kid. It's just many people don't, what I'm saying? So we've gotten to this point where this is like absurdity. It's not even about, at the end of the day, religion or whatever here, if you think for that part. Because that's what people always tie in with abortion. No, it's just straight up murder. Like, you're stopping something coming into this world. Like, you're literally forcing it, right? There was a guy back in Philadelphia, I believe in the 90s. He was a doctor, an abortion doctor, who was just killing. He would, like, get the kid out and then keep him alive. And then he would murder them or something like that. I forget that's how it went, but it was just, it's crazy. And, I don't remember the whole story on it. I remember seeing this on, like, the news many years ago. But we look back at the, the first thing of, I mean, we gotta be honest too. It's like Susan B. Anthony, a lot of those women who were like getting that and trying to, force this stuff, the voting and everything like that. They weren't attractive women. So the thing was, they weren't getting men and everything like that. So they got, that pity on themselves, like, this isn't right, so we need this, that, and the other thing. So it just never seemed to end. And most women don't really want to vote, let's be honest. They don't really care about the world. And most, what I'm saying? Like, most women don't even really care when they even go to these, like, colleges. They don't understand most things. They're only 20% of the STEM field anyway, let's be honest. They're not really in all the STEM classes I've noticed when I even went to college. It was mostly the men that were in the STEM classes. Women are more social people, as we know, right? They're social creatures, I guess we can say, for fun. And, they like the, nursing and stuff like that, teachers. But the problem is, you have all these schools teaching certain things now as well, which are just, women are very gullible. I hate to even say that in a sense, but they're more like, they're more socially to conform. And we're not, men are, we're just not. Like, I never really socially conformed at all. I remember I would always be back in school afraid to, like, say how I feel about certain things in the world. But, I've gotten to that point. And this is the reason why I even named this channel Langan Leash, because, like, I feel like I was caged up my whole life because I was afraid to speak on the internet or whatever it was, or to speak in public and just give my thoughts and opinions, give my real truest intent. And I was like, well, shit, let's just call it this. And I was like, let's use my last name, let's call it Unleashed, and let's just keep it going. But back to the whole thing with the feminism stuff, it really just rampant society, right? And the only men that really wanted, like, women to vote were the Marxist men. And this is the problem with Marxism. It came into, like, all across the world, right? After Marx wrote this in the 1800s, right? And, he was a bitter, sad, lonely man and everything like that. He was a wife. He's a piece of shit, pretty much, to his wife and everything. It's just, most people don't understand that. I've met people, and they always say, like, the means of production and shit like that. Like, people are just really retarded. And it's truly that way. Like, a lot of people don't understand the world they think they do, and they want it in a vision of their own eyes. It's like, it's really weird to me how people think this way. They think they, like, in a sense, they're like kings or something almost, where it has to go their way and their way only. And I never really understood this. I'm like, we have this whole thing of narcissism nowadays. Like, everyone can't think for themselves. Like, everyone's for themselves, I'm sorry. But they can't think for themselves. It's like one of the weirdest things ever in life. I remember being back in grade school. I was always the why kid. I was kind of always asking that. And, I was always constantly thinking about, like, history and stuff like that. That was always my favorite subject. I was always, like, in there paying attention. And a lot of people knew that back in school. But you think about this for a quick second. I was looking back the other day thinking about it. I'm like, dude, most people are just really just gullible. Like, whatever the school tells them, they're like, okay, that's fact. Like, I always question certain things in history. Are we sure this many? Like, I always questioned, how do we know that, like, let's say 60 million people died in a war or something? Like, how do we have that exact number? Like, is it really tallied? Can we really get all the dog tags, back, even if they exploded? Anything like that? I always kind of, thought of it, like, how do we get all these numbers? How do we get, So it never seemed to end. I was like, we already know, like, certain things are exaggerated because everything is written by the victors. So it never seemed to end in society. But you look around, everyone's just mentally ill. It's just the constant tattoos, or it's just people are just, they don't know. And that's the problem. It's endless doom scrolling, and they get something on their feed, and they're like, everyone's gay nowadays, or they're bisexual, or they're confused about themselves. They got the nose rings, which is just disgusting, and piercings. It's like, what have we gotten to? I get a lot of flack for saying this, because, and this is the problem too, when there's no man in the house, and most people, like, I know that don't have a man in their house, right? They're like a woman or a guy, they turn out fucked up, and it's true. Even if there's, like, nobody, like, no type of male role model in the house to have conversations about this stuff, which most families don't, unfortunately. And that's the thing that sucks too. We look about this, right? Women have to go to, have a kid and everything like that. They barely even have time to spend with their kid. They don't even get to teach them about their worldview. And this is why I've always been against this type of thing, because your parents don't even get to teach you what they think how you should think and feel almost. And I'm not saying force feeding you it, but the school teaches you how you should think and feel. Even if people are going to go against me what I think with the parent stuff. But you have the schools that are teaching you how to think and feel, which is not accurate anyway. They don't have religion anymore if you go to public school, which most people go to public school because they can't afford the Catholic schools or, some private education, which really does deter people. And this is what I've learned. People that actually went to a private Catholic school, they're a lot more, educated and well more informed than the kids that went to public school. It's just how it is. I've been to public school. I've been to a Catholic school. The Catholic school, I did so much. I loved it a lot more when I went one year. The teachers were just, way better than the public school teachers, I'll be honest. Now, even though my favorite teachers were my public school teachers, but I went back, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, people are well more informed, they're more educated, they're more fun, It's just like when you go to the public school, everything's trash and everything like that. And it's not really good education. It's a lot of lies nowadays at these public education schools. And, they're teaching this woke ideology now, unfortunately. And it's like they're telling you it's okay to be, just all this other weird shit. You're not allowed to have other opinions. And if you do, you're the problem. Nobody wants to be friends with you and such like that. And that's the reason why I always kind of say a loner these days, because there's no true friends. There really isn't. Because a lot of people don't agree with my worldview, which is kind of crazy to me. I'm just old school. I believe in certain things. A lot of things I really think today is just mental illnesses. And it really is. There's no other way. We didn't have these problems 200, 300, 400 years ago. And a lot of people like to say, well, Greece was gay and Greece was all about the transgenderism. They used to castrate themselves for fun. And, because they wanted to be a woman. It's like, no, that's not normal if it did happen. I really doubt it did. I think a lot of things has been falsified in history. They're saying the Japanese were gay. It's just like the samurais were gay. They're dicking each other down. And it's like, okay. It's like, is this really true? There's no way all society was saying this. And I remember this during the whole COVID era. And that's all everybody was saying online. Oh, yeah, the Greeks were all gay. It was a sexual utopia. And it's like the Japanese were and the samurais after war, they would fuck each other. And it's like, dude, there's no fucking way they did that. There's no way. Most people just cared about their family and they went to war and they came back home. I don't really believe in that Roman stuff either. They say all Rome was gay and the men would fuck each other before battle. There's no way they did for more closeness. I mean, we could argue that, sure, maybe they did, who knows. Maybe I'm just being an idiot or something here, but I just don't believe that all of society has done that. It just doesn't make sense to me at all. I feel like people are more restrictive of themselves and they would never let that happen, personally. Especially with the Japanese. There's no way I believe the samurai would do that. But, it's just, that's what people were kind of taught during the COVID times. And these colleges are a problem, and here's the crazy thing. I brought this up, I think, in another video. I graduated from college, about almost 3-4 weeks now? A month ago, I think, almost. And pretty much what happened, about a month ago now. So what happened was, we have 2 of the deans that went up there, whatever. They were part of the board or whatever. And they're sitting there, they go up there and they make a speech about political right away. It's like, dude, it's not about that. It's about us today, graduating. And that's why I was so happy when the woman went up there, the student one. And the student gave her a speech. That was the best one. I'm like, that's the best speech I've heard so far of all the graduations and stuff I've seen and been to. I was like, she's been by the best. She didn't bring race into it. She didn't bring anything into it. She just said, you got to get up there, succeed no matter what happens in your life. She's like, I had a really bad divorce I didn't want and stuff like that, she was saying. And she's like, I got up there, I had a kid, I was doing all this stuff trying to help other people out. And it's just, that's something we kind of have to hear now, that we need to hear. I went to this graduation 4 years ago this year? 3 years ago, I believe, this year. My ex-girlfriend, at the time she graduated college, and it's like, I was pissed off, we have the deans bitching about the political stuff and everything like that. They go up there, make their speech, and then the woman goes up there and just starts bitching for 10, 15 minutes. It literally, no joke, about how the school's racist, and, she's valedictorian, obviously, and she just goes up there and starts bitching about everything. I'm black, they restrict me because I'm black, and, they don't like black people here, but I proved myself. I was going to leave the school, but I proved myself. They gave me a small dorm room. I'm like, you're a freshman, you're going to get a smaller dorm room. She was bitching about that in her freshman year. I'm like, dude, these people have these privileged things they think everybody deserves. It's so weird to me because, Marxism is still here today, and the main reason how it is because everybody wants an equal playing field. Look, we're all not born the same way, and we don't have the same upbringings. It's just not how this life works. We can't make an equal playing field for everyone. It's just not fair. You know what I'm saying? It's just not possible, and that's a mental illness if you think that can even happen. I don't understand how we've gotten this far now after so many years. I'm only 25, right? And it's I remember being young, going outside. We didn't have the cell phones, and stuff like that. You know, I grew up in the best time before all this stuff was even out there. And don't get me wrong, we had the video games and stuff too, but they were insanely fun, and they weren't like woke, and they weren't putting political stuff in there, making the women ugly in video games, for example. Like I had GameCube, PlayStation 1, 2, the Xbox 360 era, which was probably the last good gaming generation, personally. It's just all that stuff today is even crazy. Like Sony's been put like it's just ever since Sony moved. I'm going to bring this up really quickly. They moved all their headquarters to California a few years ago. All their games have been shit. Nothing has been insanely good. I mean, Tsushima was probably the last decent game they made that's come out. My problem with Tsushima though is with what's her name? I forget one of the women in the game, Lady Masako, I think it is. Her whole story in the game, literally, this is what I'm talking about. This came out during the COVID era, so they probably changed this quickly, I think. Literally, her whole thing is hunting down all the Mongols that killed her family, right? Very fun side missions. You know, you get to learn more about her past. One of the side fucking missions, turns out she had like a sneaky link on the side who was a young female, and it's like, okay, why are we even adding another? Like, why is she bisexual all of a sudden? I'm like, she loved her husband and everything like that. Now they're throwing this in there. I was so pissed off when I replayed the game a few years ago. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why is that even a thing in here? I'm like, this is literally, what, 1100 Japan, or 1200 Japan, 1271, whatever it is, Tsushima takes place. And it's like, why is that in here? Like, why do they even need to add that with her? There's no need to do that. She literally, like, her sons died, her husband died. It's like, why? Why is that a thing? And that's the problem I have with even video games today, because all of them are shit. I haven't bought a game in a long time, since Death Stranding 2, I believe, was the last game I bought. And it's just, that Japanese games are the only thing left that are even decent, and like, honest to God, like anybody that's like, you know, Japanese or like, you know, somewhere out there, their games are fine. But I had to bring it up really quickly. It's just like, it never seems to end. Everything is like female power this, female power that. It's just like how, like, society is not okay. It truly isn't. You know, a lot of people aren't going to like this take, honestly, and that's okay. It's just, you're not supposed to like everything you see, you know, but it's just, we've gotten so molded to believe in certain things now. It's gotten insane. Like, you have the new Wolverine game, for example, coming out, and he's gonna be getting bitched at by Jean Grey the entire time. It's like, dude, it's like, what are we doing? Like, seriously. The new God of War, which actually looks pretty cool, I'll be honest, even though it doesn't really make sense why we're playing this era. They just gave us an afterlife. I feel like that's kind of like a cash grab in a sense, because you'll probably meet a lot of the old Greek gods, like Zeus or something will be in there probably. That's the only. It's kind of like a nostalgia bait in a sense. That's how I kind of see it. But who knows, man? Everything is just getting crazy. You know, it's the reason why I stay off the line as much as I can nowadays. I just try not to go on the internet too much. Unfortunately, it's at our fingertips, like instantly on purpose, so we're constantly doing this. But let me know what your thoughts and opinion are down below. I know I kind of just rambled about everything here, only because it's getting worrisome. Like, you know, I want to have a family and kids someday. You know, I wish it was sooner, but it's just, we've gotten so desensitized and, you know, to believe in certain things, right? Like, where, for example, I'll wrap up with this, is just like, we've been so educated that no matter what, college is the most important thing in life, which it's not for everyone. And it's even worse nowadays. Like, the college I went to, it's like, I was talking to somebody I know who actually is on the board, right? And he was asking me, he's like, what do you think the problem is? He's like, we're about to lose 50% in the next 2 years of students. He's like, we're going to be like less than 5,000, he thinks, possibly. They average 10 to 12 normally, but he's saying it's going to be less than 5, he thinks. This, you know, and he was asking me this like a year or two ago. And I was telling him, like, look, man, I was like, you guys are pushing so much, like, all the professors there I had are going on, you know, they're having just unhinged rants about political stuff and how they hate, you know, right-wing people and everything. It's like, it's not normal to do that in a classroom when you're talking about English or math. It's like, why are we doing that in a math class? Like, I had that once. I'm like, what are we doing? We're here to learn math, aren't we? It's just, I really am against the education system nowadays. I used to be really for it. I'm kind of, in a sense, I do believe in education to an extent, but I really don't at the same time. I'm really conflicted, because I think, honestly, and this is going to be a weird take, but I think the 1800 lifestyle of just, you know, working on the farm with your dad or whatever, and that, you know, the girls are educated, you know, they're learning to clean the house and everything, take care of certain things, that was kind of the better life. Like, you didn't have all this craziness. Now, 1950 was pretty good, too. We can compare the two. I mean, the 50s weren't too bad with that stuff. Like, if we took out, and, you know, I think that's all kind of bullshit, too. I think a lot of stuff's made up, saying that all their wives are beaten and everything. There's no fucking way. I mean, there's just, I can't really see that being a thing all the time. Sure, it did happen. Like, don't get me wrong, it did happen where, you know, people were getting beaten in the 50s by their husbands and stuff. But, you know, I think that'd be, like, the peak society of that, and just, like, without the racism, of course. But it just seemed like that was kind of the better life, you know. You just worked a decent job as a janitor. You could have fed your family as a janitor, or, you know, just working at a grocery store, being the milkman. Like, every job was attainable. You had 2 cars or whatever. You had your house you could pay off in a few years. But let me know what you think. It just seems like we've gone like downhill like really quickly. Nobody can afford anything. The car payments are ridiculous. The cars are shit. They blow up on purpose. It's like, they're controlled now. It just never seems to end. Gaming's trash. Movies are trash out here nowadays. There's not a good movie that's actually Obsession was pretty cool. I'll say that. That's come out recently that I've seen. Um, I don't know. It's just we've been so easily, influenced. Most people are easily influenced. They can't think for themselves, and that's all I've always kind of done. I've always been that kid asking questions and thinking to myself, and I'd always look up things because I was always obsessive. That's what I used to do. Believe it or not, in high school, I'll say this really quickly. At the end, junior, senior year, I never used to go to lunch. I would just go to the library and just do that for 30, 40 minutes. I would just, read history constantly all the time. Things I was interested at the time or whatever. If I didn't have a history class this semester, I used to get pissed. I was like, damn, I'm bored. But that's something I always used to do. I'm like, okay, let's go learn this, that, and the other thing. Let's go look up, 1200 Japan, who was over there. Let's go look up Genghis Khan or whatever, something like that. Because that stuff always interested me. I'm like, this is really cool. Why would somebody think that way? Why would you do something that way? I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. Have a great day. I know my voice is kind of messed up, damn allergies, but